Now, welcome back, and we're going to be going through our last segment whereby we get to analyze the matches that happened over the weekend. And, well, the Champions League was back, and is back, rather. And unlike normally, it's not about Tuesday or Wednesday night football. It's about Friday or Saturday, and even Tuesday, like is the case this week. And we're joined by Greg Mulemi, who is a football analyst. And, well, Greg, because of time, let's just get down to it. We had a couple of last 16 matches being played, Champions League. We had 4 matches, and was it really surprising in some matches? For example, we had a couple of shockers, but Manchester City versus Real Madrid, that is a game from the first leg Manchester City were in control of, and people were saying Pep Guardiola is going to win the Champions League because back then the ban, of course, you do remember, was pending. The 2-season ban by UEFA was pending. So what can you say about that match?
I think it was quite a straightforward win because going into the match, Manchester City had taken the lead at Bernabeu, and at Etihad we know they have a very good record, and they just capitalized on a mistake. Varane didn't have one of his best nights in the Champions League, committing 2 haulers, something that is so unprecedented. But what I felt from that game is that Manchester City really missed, not Man City rather, but Real Madrid. They missed Sergio Ramos, who's been one of their outstanding performers this season. His absence was just felt because he covers up so many errors in that defense. Despite him committing many, he also covers up. Because I don't think if he was in the field of play on that day, they could be they could have scored those 2 goals because he has speed, anticipation, and then I think his presence just scares away most forwards. I think that's where Man City knew that we can capitalize on it and have this. Maybe it is their season.
And of course, you could watch Sergio Ramos from the stands. He was actually quite disappointed from the bench, and how the mighty have fallen. Real Madrid, a team that went from winning 3 in a row to, being eliminated in the last 16. Well, speaking of how the mighty have fallen, Juventus versus Lyon. Lyon actually did the clever thing, took a 1-0 advantage from the first leg, and, when they were home. And, over the weekend, Juventus lost 2-1, or rather won 2-1 against Lyon. But due to the home and away, the away goal rule, Lyon, of course, qualified for the quarterfinals. What can you say about that match? And what can you say about those saying that, Juventus were justified in firing Sarri and appointing Pirlo in regard to that, and some saying Juventus did not need to hire Cristiano Ronaldo to win the Champions League, and some saying that that squad is of age. They should not expect to, participate in the top leagues, especially the Champions League, given some of the ages of their players.
It's not all about age because teams like Barcelona are still in the Champions League despite having players who are in their mid-30s. For Lyon, I think it's the experience they've had in the competition. As you remember, in the mid-2000s, Lyon was a very good team, participating very well in the Champions League. And right now, they're a team on a revamp. They just beaten PSG the other day. So it shows you that this is not they're no pushovers anymore, and it's a squad that had young players who are now coming of age, and with Captain Depay in the mix, I think it brings in some good spice and very exciting football from the French team. Juventus, I think I can say they did not do justice for Ronaldo, because if you watch that game, he tried his best, almost got a hat-trick from the match.
And a lovely second goal.
And a lovely second goal, something that we know Ronaldo taking his tally to 170 goals in the Champions League. I don't think there are many players who can, or who actually will have attained that or surpass even that target that is set, because Lionel Messi comes in a distance to 115, I think. Exactly. Lewandowski, whom everyone is talking about, is still way back, 66 goals. Yeah, so
Ronaldo
I think
still reigns.
Bringing in Pirlo, it's something that will motivate the players, because we see that the fourth generation of players are now taking over managerial positions all over Europe. In England, it started with England, where we found the likes of Lampard, the likes of Arteta. Right now, we have Gattuso in Napoli. Yes, we have the likes of Pirlo right now in Juventus. These are players who just finished their careers less than a decade ago and are now bringing in new ideas. So that maybe that's what we'll be seeing from the Juventus side. And I know Pirlo, having an eye for talent, he'll bring in some good names, and his presence there will also help attract maybe major names that we've been seeing drifting from the Serie A, maybe going to the Premier League. Maybe we'll be seeing them going back to the Serie A and make it a big league as it was in the early 90s and maybe in the 2000s.
Okay. And in another match we had, well, Lionel Messi reminding us why, once again, he is, well, arguably, if not the best player in the world, with a very splendid performance, a 3-1 win, Barcelona win over Napoli. That was quite expected, really, no shocker in that match.
No shocker, but then you look at the manner in which Barcelona handled that match. It also depended on Messi. It shows you that without Messi, there's still a mess in Barcelona, and Kike Setien knows that.
That was a good pun.
Yeah, you look at how they played. Messi, he was brilliant.
Okay.
Scored a very good goal. Look at the goal that was ruled out for VAR. That was quite some goal, and I think maybe he believes that they can do something. Yeah, and they are facing Bayern Munich.
Oh, Bayern Munich. Yeah. And speaking of Bayern Munich, I'm sure this one is not a debate. This one was expected. Bayern Munich beating Chelsea 3-1, an aggregate win of 7-1. Quite a lot that Chelsea needs to work on going into the next season. Now, going into the quarters, we had a few teams that had qualified before the whole coronavirus pandemic came about. Atalanta will be taking on PSG, who won 3-2 aggregate against Dortmund. So maybe because of time, who do you think is going to emerge victorious in that match?
Atalanta, I think they're having a good season. They've had a good season, and I think watching them, even when they eliminated the likes of Valencia, they're a team who score many goals. So I think going into this match, I give them an upper hand.
Okay. Another a German team now, RB Leipzig, another one that has had a fantastic season despite the sale of Timo Werner to Chelsea. We have Leipzig taking on Atletico Madrid. As we remember, the last 16 match was fantastic, a 4-2 aggregate win against Liverpool. But do you think that Leipzig is actually going to, be able to dispatch Atletico Madrid? Because as we all know, Atletico Madrid does what needs to be done. Doesn't matter if they make the game boring, they hold on to the last minute. So what do you think of that match?
I think here experience will play part. Atletico Madrid have been finalists twice in the Champions League, and they know what it takes to get a results in a knockout competition, especially these tight games where there's no home and away advantage. Diego Simeone knows that a 1-0 is a result that he can get comfortably and then sit back. And that's why he has the likes of Savic in defense, guys who can just spoil everything and make life tough for you.
Barcelona Bayern, that is actually the match to watch. That's the biggest match.
And I think that's where the Champions League winner will come from. Sorry, Man City, no offense.
So
I think here is it's all about who will carry the day between Lewandowski and Lionel Messi. To me, I believe that Bayern are in a better shape right now than Barcelona.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to be, of course, seeing that all the updates we shall be bringing to you in our sports bulletins. Now, Manchester City versus Lyon. Did Lyon get lucky against Juventus? And what does that mean for their matchup against Manchester City? And once again, most people really believe Manchester City is going to win this season.
I'm not sure about Manchester City winning this season. And I can't say Lyon qualified by fluke, because getting that away goal, in fact, they got it very early. It means that their game plan worked against Juventus. And right now, nobody's playing at home. They're all playing in Lisbon. A neutral ground whereby you commit a mistake, the other person capitalizes, then that's the end of it. There's no second chance. This is a tight game, and I know Guardiola in knockout matches is not one of the best coaches. Rudy Garcia, I'm not sure, but I think that this can stretch. It can stretch because we know Lyon can also play some good football. So it all depends with who has the tightest defense in the day. Okay.
Now moving to a level lower, a tier lower, to the Europa League, whereby the quarters still. Tonight we have two matches on card. Inter Milan taking on German side Bayer Leverkusen, while Manchester United will be facing off against FC Copenhagen. Just your predictions on the two matches. Inter Milan with the likes of Lukaku, And now they have Sanchez, actually. It's a done deal. And Eriksen, they're coming up against Bayer Leverkusen. Who will emerge victorious in that match?
I'll give Inter to carry the day because you look at the caliber of players they have right now. These are players who've sometimes won the likes of Lukaku. They've lifted the trophy. They know that they're in a knockout stage. And Bayer Leverkusen, they're one of their best players, unsettled Kai Havertz. Then it makes it difficult for them to have 100% focus going into the match. So to me, I believe it's Inter Milan who might carry the day.
Okay, United Copenhagen.
Straightforward, I think United, with all the experience and the kind of players they have, the likes of Pogba, the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Martial, they've had a fantastic second half of the second half of the season.
And on to tomorrow's matches, another two quarterfinal matches, Shakhtar Donetsk versus FC Basel of Switzerland, and Wolves versus Sevilla. Do you think Wolves can actually replicate their form in the EPL and actually manage to, qualify for the semis?
They can, because you look at the kind of players they have also. I always say that in a knockout competition, if you have players who've been in such situations before, they make it easier for you, and Wolves have such kind of players. Don't just look at Adama Traore as a Wolves player. He was at Barcelona. The likes of Raul Jimenez, these are good players, and I think they know that this is another chance of them at least closing the gap with and maybe be listed among the elite in Europe. They start from somewhere, so I believe they have that confidence and they can get a good result and proceed. Yeah.
But then again, just like you mentioned when we were talking about the Champions League, do you think experience is going to play a major part? Because if so, Sevilla has the upper hand.
Sevilla, not in bad faith, but they're Europa Cup specialists. That is their master. But then they've not been so much performing, rather I can put it, they have not been performing very well.
Even in La Liga.
Yeah, even in La Liga. So I think they're lukewarm right now. They're not really a force to reckon with. White, the Sevilla of 3 seasons ago, the one that beat Liverpool fair and square, then I could have given them a chance.
So it's not the same Sevilla that's playing right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now quickly going through some of the emerging transfers, actually, the biggest ones. We've had Willian. Of course, most teams at the moment are looking to, of course, bolster their squads ahead of next season, which starts in September for the EPL and also La Liga, Bundesliga follow. They're actually going to, just like they do normally, actually, concurrently. But now the biggest transfer so far, Willian, moving from Chelsea and going to Arsenal. Do you think he's going to, of course, improve that squad? Or do you think Arsenal should stop relying, of course, on older players, having bought, Luis also from Chelsea?
I think what Arteta is trying to do is to nurture these young talents that are at Arsenal. You look at the likes of Saka, you look at the Nathan Miles. These are young players who need at least players who've been in business. And Chelsea being a side that has won many titles with these players like Willian, there's David Luiz, there's Olivier Giroud, who jumped ship to the other side. Willian and Luiz bring in that, I think, experience. They can nurture these boys because we find that Arsenal has been lacking leadership. And these are players who can really spark that kind of discipline in that team. I don't think there is something wrong with these players signing for Arsenal.
But then again, Emilio Martinez, of course, goalkeeper, second choice, Arsenal goalkeeper.
They're both Brazilians.
Reports claim that he is actually, he is on the move. He wants to leave Arsenal.
I think he also feels that it's time for him to have that first team experience. And having shown that in the recent weeks,
after
that injury to Ben Leno, then he thinks that it's time. And who will not want to sign such a kind of goalkeeper? He's excellent. And that the other time we talked about Argentines being good number 2 keepers, he's just shown that. And right now he knows that maybe this is the time for him to prove his worth and maybe become Argentina number 1, because Caballero and Sergio Romero have not been doing well. Exactly. So he knows that this is his chance.
Okay. Now, for Liverpool has been busy in the market, but what's making the headlines at the moment is the return of Ryan Brewster. He's actually quite a really good football player, but he was on loan at Swansea last season. And, well, Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool manager, says that indeed Brewster shall be joining the team for pre-season with hopes of course, seeing him try and take Firmino's place? Do you think that's possible as a pundit and also as a Liverpool fan?
Not yet. Brewster's a young, brilliant talent, a player who has future, but then he still has some strides to make. I remember players like Danny Welbeck when they were at Manchester United. He went on a series of loans before he became the player we used to know in the mid-2000s. I think Ryan Brewster is just being prepared to take that role because Firmino is 29 right now. He might need maybe a couple of seasons on loan, and there are so many sides that are interested. Sheffield United is one of the sides that is interested in his services. Derby County, they also want him, but then he's not yet there. It's better he gets a loan move so that he can gain that experience, so that when he comes in, he challenges for the first team. Because right now he comes in, he'll still be on the bench and watch the front three play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, of course, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you very much, Greg, for joining us here on Sports Check. Now, as we wind up, just a couple of transfers, reports and rumours that you should be looking forward to. Liverpool also are eyeing Bournemouth midfielder David Brooks, while Tottenham Hotspur is eyeing to grab a rival player, that is Maitland-Niles from Arsenal. And Chelsea also looking to sign John Stones from Manchester City. John Stones, of course, has not been as phenomenal as he used to be this season. And, well, that has led to him being, of course, left out in most matches throughout the season. And finally, the most spectacular one is Carlos Tevez, who might actually play football as a striker until the age of 37. That is after he signed a new contract with Boca Juniors. That is the Argentine side. Well, now we're going to end the show on that note, but thank you very much for those who sent their feedback via our social media platforms. You can continue doing that on Facebook at KBC Channel 1, on Twitter at KBC Channel 1, and of course don't go too far as Nancy Okwara is coming up next with Tamrini.